I've got a crush on you. Sweetie pie, all the day and night time, hear me sigh. I never had the least notion that I could fall with so much emotion.
And joining us now, great to welcome one of the co-authors of a very interesting, kind of a humorous book, and we'll find out more about it. It's called Crush. Writers reflect on love, longing, and the lasting power of their first celebrity crush. Kind of interesting topic, and we're joined today by Dave Singleton. He's up in Washington, D.C. today, and he joined us by telephone. Dave, good to talk with you. How are you?
Good to talk with you, too. Glad to speak with you and your listeners in Florida.
I guess everybody, I would think everybody at one time or another, if you watch TV or a movie fan, you've had a crush on somebody on the screen over your lifetime. Could be as a child, could be as an adult, but kind of interesting topic to write about. What gave you the idea?
Well, I worked for Match.com for many years, and so I was fluent in writing about relationships, and I was always curious, and I still am, about kind of what makes people tick when it comes to who they pick and how those relationships go. I also write about pop culture, and there was a way to fuse the two, and what really got me going about this was, hey, your first celebrity crush is a high concept. You hear it on TV shows. They ask a question. Somebody says, Ryan Reynolds says, oh, it was Sandra Bullock or whatever, and people say, oh, that's cool. What I liked about the idea was take the high concept that everybody, as you said, everybody has one, has a first celebrity crush. Take it and then create literary essays. Dig a little deeper. Find out what the real stories are and how they impacted people over their lives. And that's why in the book, my co-author and I got 36 other writers. We're in it as well. We write our own stories. So a total of 38 new essays on this topic. And they really are funny. They're poignant, sad. They're all over the map, but they're very rich, good stories. And that came out of when she and I were talking one night, and we told each other our stories, and we realized, hey, this is a little deeper if you dig below the surface than we initially thought.
Yeah, it's interesting, some of the different essays that you talk about. Some are funny, but some are a little poignant. You're right about that. There's more to it than just finding
poignant,
somebody you like in TV or movies or a singer or something, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, her story is about her, really, Donny Osmond, but it's really about her mother.
Right.
Mine is about wanting to escape a very kind of tough time at home. Yisha Callahan wrote about a crush on John Travolta, but it's really like an interracial Romeo and Juliet story. I mean, so they cover a lot of ground.
I think the one she wrote about Travolta was The Boy in the Bubble. I remember that movie.
Yeah, The Boy in the Bubble. She saw him on TV.
I think everybody saw that at a certain age when you're in high school. You sort of had to watch that movie for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
but,
you remember those movies they were a big deal, those movies of the week.
Yeah, right. That was one of his first movies before he really became huge, but he was known, I guess, early on from that movie.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you my celebrity crush. One of my early ones was Mary Tyler Moore, first from the reruns of Dick Van Dyke as Laura Petrie, and then, of course, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So I guess I could write an article about that.
Great one. Yeah, you should write a story about that. Where did you remember when you first saw her or when you were watching her?
I guess the Dick Van Dyke Show was a little before my time, but I did see it in reruns, so I always thought she was, kind of hot then as a kid. And then, of course, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, I remember watching that originally. So
Yeah. Well, we actually have an essay in the book about Mary Tyler Moore.
Right.
So we have one in there, yeah.
So that's mine. I'll have to write that down. That might be interesting to do.
Yeah, no, you should. We thought about creating a blog off of. I have a website, DaveSingleton.com, and I've thought about creating a blog, and I might just do that where people could contribute their own stories because I love hearing them. I think it would be really fun to hear them, and I think it's one of those questions that if you or your listeners are out with their friends one night, bring it up and probe a little deeper. Ask a couple of questions: where somebody was, what they remember about it. Did they actually go for a person like that? Was the crush a romantic one, or was the crush actually the kind of person that you wanted to be? Because we have a lot of those romance or whatever the girl version of
right.
romance is. We have a lot of those type of crushes too.
I guess it kind of goes back to the days before television. People would go to the movies for their favorite movie star. If you're mostly the guys would, I guess, like the different women stars of the time, and women, Clark Gable and those kind of guys. I guess it goes back to that, right?
I think it does. I think that the celebrity part of this crush, I think probably crushes go back to the cavemen.
Sure.
But I think celebrity crushes probably go back, unless I'm crazy, I think they probably go back to movies. Because I doubt, unless they're maybe the newspaper, you'd see somebody in the paper. But my guess is that first celebrity crushes really got going with the start of the movies, and then morphed into TV and music, and celebrity is, now you can't avoid it.
We have one in there from a man who actually lives in our area down here in Sarasota, Stephen King. He wrote about the great actress Kim Novak. I thought that was an interesting one.
Yeah, he did. I mean, can you imagine when he agreed to that? I was so thrilled that Stephen King would do that. I'm so generous of him. And, I love him as a writer of scary stuff, but I really love him as a writer of pop culture. And so when I decided to contact him, a lot of it was based on the fact that, hey, this is a pop culture book, and Stephen King writes wonderful, really great essays, smart, funny, sharp, about pop culture. And so it's kind of cool to imagine somebody like Stephen King is 8 years old in the movie theater seeing the very cool, if your listeners remember Kim Novak, she was quite a stunning beauty and very mysterious, and I kind of like the image of seeing 8-year-old Stephen King watching her and thinking, aha.
He took a strange turn somewhere along the line, but but with his writing I'm talking about. But yeah, good to know he liked Kim Novak back in the day. That was fun.
Right.
Occasionally we see him down here. He'll walk around the shopping mall. You occasionally see Stephen King down here. So
interesting
guy.
That's great. Well, we had a great time getting these folks, and I tell you, they were so generous because they are all new pieces. So they were very generous with their time, and I'm glad that our idea to dig a little deeper on the first celebrity crush topic intrigued them so much that they would do this for us.
I know it was your essay, Dave, or somebody in there wrote an essay about the Partridge Family. Was that yours?
That was me.
That was yours. Okay, I read through all of them.
The Partridge Family. Yeah, I was at home in Washington going through kind of turbulent time when I was 9, and I tell you, I wanted to get on that bus, Doug. I still want to get on that bus. I wanted to. When I see that show or hear that music, it really does take me back to that time of wanting to sort of get away, and I loved that show.
I remember that show originally, and then I think they run them on one of those like MeTV or into one of those channels now, and they still kind of hold up if you watch them today.
Yeah, they do. It's really
maybe not the outfits, but the comedy holds up.
Yeah, it does. It's funny, and I think there was an hour of that. It was the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family,
right.
And I think that there are really two types of people. There were the Brady Bunch people and the Partridge Family people, and I was definitely a Partridge Family person. I thought they were a little cooler. I thought, they were a little hipper. They were maybe a little more alternative. The Bradys seemed like, the perfect little family, and so I was definitely a Partridge.
Yeah, the Brady Bunch, to me, even remember back then, were kind of a dumb show, but the Partridge Family had a little bit of heart to it. I remember. So
I hope this doesn't excite any of your listeners, but I bet,
no, that's fine.
Some of them are riding along, listening, going like, "Hey."
Well, again, it's a really interesting book. Funny essays, some poignant ones, like you mentioned, and writers that people would know about. Stephen King, of course. James Franco, actor that people know quite a bit about, and
James
different
Franco
writers.
is a great writer. He's a great writer too, and I have to tell you that when we got his essay, I just thought, I didn't know you read these stories about James Franco. I don't know him personally, or I didn't know him personally. You read these stories about how he's an actor and a writer and a director and at school and doing all these things, and you wonder, gosh, is he really doing all of this? And then I got his essay, and it didn't even need copy editing. It was that good. And I thought, okay, this guy is the real deal. Wow.
Yeah.
impressed.
Interesting essay he wrote. Name of the book is
Yeah.
Crush. Writers reflect on love, longing, and the lasting power of their first celebrity crush. And we've been talking with Dave Singleton today. And Dave, give out a website. People can get more information on the book.
Yeah, please. It's davesingleton.com, DAVESINGLETON.com, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter I'm at DC Dave Singleton.
Great. Dave, pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can do it again. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Would love to. Take care, Doug.
The world will pardon my mush, 'cause I've got a crush, my baby, on you.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.